What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You were watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm with my guys. First off, to my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
We're all like closer than we normally are.
And he seems very excited about it. And to my left, still smells like a vacation, Mr. Brendan Dunne.
Back in this time zone.
How you feeling?
A little foggy.
Yeah.
I had a weird weekend.
Did you? What else is new? Wait, weren't you here Sunday?
I got back on Saturday, but I've spent these last couple of days trying to
Piece together the sneaker world.
reacclimate myself to the Western world. You know?
Okay.
You had a big smile on your face, though, Joe. Right when you started this intro. What was that smile about? Because there's a lot to smile about.
Is there? Like what?
The dinner we had?
Yeah, we made it. We made it. If you guys follow us on social, I made it. And listen, not only did I make it,
You made it happen.
I made it happen, and I showed up, and I even though he's out of the playoffs, I Jimmy Butlered the meal. Let's be honest.
Yes,
Let's be honest.
yes.
I Jimmy Butlered the meal,
Take
right?
your credit, King.
Went to Emilio's Bellato. Shouts to them. Shouts to our guy. Packed house. Pretty ceremonious.
Had like the corner table.
Slid right in there, no problems. When you're with a man
No.
as Sicilian as this guy, the olive skin just camouflages when you slide right in.
Pretty ceremonious. We looked up who was on the wall, though. Who remembers?
Leo?
The picture. No.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a bunch of famous people
David
on
Beckham.
the wall.
David
Beckham.
Beckham.
Oh,
yep,
yes.
Yep. So,
They had a photo
listen.
of David Beckham on the wall.
The dinner happened. I felt a little bit of pressure in the ordering. I took care of the ordering. They helped a little bit. But
We finally got dinner together. Welty and I have been going to dinner with PG for, what feels like years now, even though it's only been a matter of months. It's been an ongoing meme on this here show. You've always been left out. This time, you weren't left out. You were the head of the table. You were in control.
Appreciate it.
Us, PG, Mubi Ali from Reebok was there,
Yep. And
formerly of Crooked Tongues.
Crooked Tongues fame. We got the chicken scarpiello wings right off the bat, 15 minutes in. It was, just established ourselves there. How did...
I remember.
Go ahead, let's hear.
No.
Let's hear.
It was great dinner. I remember like the thought going through my head was
Yeah, they just gave each other a pound. For
We-
people who can't see.
ate so much food.
Imagine
There?
the pressure on Joe because he didn't want to underorder.
Wait, was it a lot? Yeah,
End
well,
of a
I'm not
meme.
saying
that's the
I'm not
thing.
saying
He
that
came
anyway.
in. Not only did I want to show my guys a good time, show
Appreciate
Mubi
that.
a good time. PG knows. Kind of wanted to show him a good
We
time.
don't owe
He
him
should be-
shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little less,
Yeah.
but still, nonetheless, he was also very demanding leading up to the dinner. And
Accurate.
but there was a lot of discrepancies at the dinners that you've had before
Totally.
I joined, and I wanted to make it. I wanted to
remember-
clear the decks.
No, I remember being super full, like to the brim, where you're like sitting there and you're like, man, my like stomach hurts. I ate so much food.
A lot of carbs.
Yeah.
A lot of prosciutto.
You spilled some salami. He dropped a piece of salami right on his phone, right?
Yeah, it was right on the phone.
No, it wasn't.
Right on
It
the
wasn't.
phone.
It wasn't. It wasn't a salami.
You saw
I saw.
It
right on the
wasn't-
phone.
It was.
wasn't
It
with
was
the
the.
prosciutto de Parma.
It was the chicken cutlet.
Oh, even worse.
That's
okay?
worse. You
Even
dropped the
worse.
chicken
Yeah, I
cutlet right
remember.
on the
I just looked
iPhone?
over. I remember just looking over, and the chicken was like.
Sliding down the
I
screen.
think it was like I went to go pull it over in the cheese and because it was like the cheese and the prosciutto.
Yeah, right.
Like fell off the top and then.
Do we have? Did anyone take pictures? Do you guys have them that we could put them in?
I have a couple photos.
I have a couple videos
from
of
Okay.
the food.
Cool.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
so
put that
people
in.
listening to the
Haley can
podcast
put it
definitely switch over
right
to
here.
the YouTube so you can
It
see
was good,
all the detailed imagery.
That's all they care about is the food that we ate.
I know. It was
Finally
really good.
made it happen.
If we get to continue on the food, though, your last Instagram, dry as hell glizzy. Okay? Did you see? Did you like the fourth slide?
Yeah.
He was wherever he was on vacation.
I was on the train to Alexandria from Cairo.
The glizzy, dry, very dry. Was that a good one? It didn't look great.
No, you know what it was? We bought the sandwich pack from the guy pushing the cart, and there were 3 quote-unquote sandwiches in the sandwich pack, and I took the hit for the team. There was a chicken one, a gibna rumi one, and I took the
But
the beef hot dog or whatever it was.
But I saw not even an ounce of mustard or ketchup.
It
not
was
even.
dry. It was
It
dry.
was dry. Also, like
One
on
of the
a
worst
train-
glizzies I've
on
ever
a-
had, but I had to do it for the
Was
team.
it on
That
a
might be
train?
Yeah, it was on the train.
That
yeah.
might be the one situation where it's okay to dip the glizzy in the beer. You know the
Beer batter glizzy?
the video from the Yankees game that was going around.
Yeah,
Oh,
everybody was tagging us in. Yeah.
Want to talk about sneaker stuff?
Sure.
Already.
There's
5
plenty
minutes in.
happening.
This is a sneakers podcast.
This is the quintessential sneakerhead show. Don't sell us short.
Okay.
Give us our full credit.
What do we got going on? I was bringing up the Arthur Carr previews of the Solomons.
You like those?
Really like those. Trying to get Arthur on the podcast.
Yes.
We need that for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully, once he's in town, we get him on.
I'm not sold on those Solomons. I hope that doesn't dissuade him from coming on here. But I do.
A little too bright or what?
Yeah, not my favorite Solomon.
Okay.
And I had the Solomons on heavy on vacation. I was going in.
What else? There was another one. There was something else. Another preview of a shoe that I wanted to bring up. Oh, what was it? I meant to put it in Slack. I forgot. Well, I'll think about it as a...
Okay.
Oh, so we were talking about the Eric Costin was skating in a pair of black Jordan 4s.
Did you see that?
Oh, I missed that.
And there was... So people were saying that, because we published a story saying that there's an allegedly a Nike SB Air Jordan 4 coming out.
March 2023.
People are saying that Costin's maybe wear testing a...
Really?
Yeah, that it was all black shoe that he was skating.
Black Cat 4s.
He did a fakie 360.
Are we sure they're Black Cat 4s?
They are.
Hold on. He did a fakie 360 flip in a pair of all black Jordan 4s, but there's like white lettered writing on the midsole, and people are like, "Oh, is that
Right. Is he testing something
Is it
out?
a sample pair? That's why there's writing on the
You
midsole."
think maybe it says Endless Summer like mine?
No.
I don't know if they took any cues from you on this one, Joe.
But there was the idea that maybe Costin was wear testing.
Yeah, I mean, what we're
shoe.
told. So NikeCraft did first report the news. We'll give them a little bit of credit there. Not that anybody else ever gives us any credit. But, and we had a source also confirm it with us, and that source told Complex and Riley Jones that the shoe will be retooled a little bit for skating, so it would make sense to me if Costin was wear testing. And also, I gotta wonder whether or not this is a James Arizumi type project, because he used to be the man at Nike SB, and now he's running Jordan's special projects. So that would make a lot of sense to me in terms of that connection there. Let's see. I'm excited to see what that sneaker looks like.
Yeah, same. And Costin's a good guy to wear test it for sure.
Yeah. What else happened? We're doing a little bit of catching up because we've been the timing's been all over the place. I mean, I want to mention while Mubi was in town, did get to go out to a Reebok event with him, which is always a good time. And, just saw a lot of nice people, the latest Eames Reebok collection.
Doing a lot of those, huh?
Yeah. Saw my guy Eames, Hannah from Reebok. Everybody at Reebok appreciates the podcast, so I think it's important to,
I feel bad.
Cap to them.
He had asked me to come, but I didn't get a chance.
What were you doing that night?
I don't know.
You
I
wanna
haven't
go to
been
the
to a
dinners?
sneaker party in a minute.
What were you? What was on? What was on your plate?
I really don't remember. I just haven't been to a. I feel like there was an era when I felt the need to go to every sneaker party.
I remember that era. Same. Big same.
Yeah, it's like you got him like because
you know who was bummed he didn't get to meet you? I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you real quick because James Chan from Reebok.
Oh yeah.
So you did let the people down by not being in the building, and as per usual, everybody was asking me where's Welty.
Sorry.
Did anyone ask where I was?
I think
no.
I'll be honest.
No, because sorry, go ahead, Welty.
no. I just think early on, early on in the career, you always wanted to make all these connections and go to all the parties because maybe in your head you kind of mythologize cool sneaker events and parties and
free glizzies.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Mini glizzies.
Yeah.
Open bar,
for sure.
Those things. And then you don't get invited to the first few, and you're just you have the FOMO that I didn't get to go to the cool party last night.
Was there one that sticks out? The Kanye G-Shock party when he performed for 150. I think that was before your time. That was it.
Joe
It wasn't a
was
sneaker party, but epic.
I do know
Bobby
the
Hundreds was. He got the footage. I remember.
do know the one that everyone was jockeying the most to try and get into was the first Kanye Adidas performance that was in Madison Park.
Madison Square
Was that when
Park.
he had all good music?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
It was-
cold that night.
It was very
Oh
cold,
my
but you had
God.
to
Freezing.
you had to
Did you go?
Yeah, I was pretty far back though.
But you had to really get the okay from Adidas and get
Wax,
a digital ticket or something like that to show up. You couldn't just +1 your way into
Yeah,
that.
he brought everyone out, and they all had the 750s on. Right?
That was a big night.
But we'd gone to all the parties all over the years and been to so many parties, and I think kind of when the pandemic happened or whatever, and you stopped the IRL events stopped happening, that it was kind of nice not to go out on Tuesday nights anymore.
Well, the people want to see you back out there, Welty.
Maybe I'll be out back in these streets.
Enough with the whole psychological thing. Just go. They want to see you, okay? They want to see you. It's 90 degrees out. You could show up in shorts.
I've become such a boring person, I've realized, like over the past, few years, where it's like you just don't have the desire to do these things anymore.
That's actually true.
No. It is. It is
going
true.
For another high five.
It is true.
I gotta stop with the high five.
It is true.
Don't.
Yeah.
I like to see that.
Someone Instagram story you leaving me hanging was
That
hilarious. Babs zoomed in.
That was a good
perfectly.
I went to the LV Nike exhibit opening in Greenpoint. That was a good time. I was so cool to see all those shoes in person for the first time. And while I did get closer to the actual physical shoes, I'm no closer to owning a pair. But
you didn't spend $1 million. Imagine you going to Louis Vuitton and just like racking up purchases.
Yeah,
you have all these damier print bags that you're just like sitting in the corner of your house.
I'm hopeful that rumors pan out and more pairs release in the future, but
doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good for your boy on this set. Let's see.
I have heard rumors from people.
Yeah.
That there are going to be more pairs coming out.
Same. But man, so Joe, did you go?
I didn't go
in Greenpoint.
I didn't go. I was in Mexico. But what I did see, totally, sort of related, but not the exhibit. I walked to Dumbo the other day and saw like the ship that's wrapped in like.
Right.
Did you see it? It's like
no. I
thought you were going to say.
And I saw the big statue.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to say. You're like, what I did see, and I was like, what was that? The statue posted on every single person's Instagram story.
Oh yeah, you were kind of annoyed by this.
Not
right?
annoyed, but it's like I get it. You went to the Virgil exhibit, it's cool, but every single person posts. Okay,
is this a shot at me?
No.
Because I was there before everybody, just so we know.
It's just it's like the same like.
Yeah, I mean, I was hyped because, and this is not just me trying to gas myself up, but nobody had been in the space yet, and
you were the first one. You opened it up.
I mean, I feel like I was the first media person posting the photos.
You were there early, yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like it was worth it to just like post 1 million photos because a lot of those shoes we had never seen before.
This
and I was
true.
legitimately hyped. Like
there was the one, it's like the damier shoe with the pink sole on it.
Those are crazy, yeah.
I still think the best though is the Hulk Nike SB looking pair, the green suede, the
two-tone. I
two-tone.
like that gold one a lot.
Those are nice too.
Our man PG got in there too, right?
Of course, you know Paul was in there taking a bunch of photos.
Wait, what's your favorite out of the bunch?
Out of all 47?
Well, I mean,
we should just rank them right here.
Yeah,
for
but if there was,
minutes.
Because for me, like I said, it's the green suede pair. Was there a pair that stuck out to you the most?
I gotta like look back at that flyer. They had that cool flyer that shows photos of every pair.
Was there any ones that stuck out to you, Joe?
I'm trying to look.
Let me see.
You ever get when like the pairs you like the most are probably pairs that you wouldn't wear?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So like the blue and white, the green and white. But I will say the like I guess the friends and family like the Carolina blue or
those are nice.
That pink midsole one is really sick.
And the Colette blue was always kind of like my favorite.
Dude, the purple one or like the French one.
Yeah, but at the batch that at the exhibit, these are really nice. I'd have to think about it.
There's a lot of good ones and ones we've never seen before, and some bad ones.
Yeah, some hits, some misses. It's fair to say that.
Yeah, 47 shoes. There's gonna be some misses in there.
You guys talked about that. You saw the statue posted so much. Can we talk about the other thing that was posted so much this weekend?
Tom Sachs.
The Tom Sachs ad. Saw that everywhere.
Boring.
That's what the ad said.
Yeah.
In the New York Times.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a copy? You're the Tom Sachs guy. When that happens, you go to the bodega and get a copy of the newspaper?
He goes out of the country and they.
What
Did
kind
you
of
write the
disrespect
copy?
is that? Well, I'm out of the country. They dropped the Tom Sachs info.
Yeah.
What's up with that? They didn't hit the Tom Sachs guy first. Seems weird, right?
Well, you leaked the neck face dunk right after, so.
Wait. So
thank you for that. Remember the neck face?
Yes.
The neck face dunk. It popped up for the first time this weekend. But if people remember, we talked about that shoe a couple months ago.
Also, little hidden fact. I don't know if you remember this, Joe. At the old complex office on 23rd Street, right next to the building, there was a very small neck face tag.
Neck face was huge back in those days.
It was only like this big, though.
He did all the Vans. We featured them in the magazine. Yeah, he was a big... I think Neckface, talking about parties, I think Neckface Vans parties were always kind of crazy.
I can imagine that.
Seems like it.
Okay.
Wait, so we need to...
hear that?
What, did your back just pop
No,
open?
that was my knee.
What
Getting
else?
old sucks, guys.
I hope the mic
but
picked
it's
that
okay.
up. I hope that.
We need, nothing else. We need to go back to it. So
Tom Sachs. Yes.
Tom Sachs shoe. Being it, obviously saying this a little facetiously, but being that you're the Tom Sachs guy, we've seen it before, but now that you've actually kind of seen the official images of it,
For sure.
what's your take on the Tom Sachs shoe?
So I've been a hater of this shoe this whole time.
Okay.
Is it the general? What's the term for
General Purpose Shoe, the
Okay.
GPS. I hope I have that right. That was just off the top of the head. I'm sure people will correct me if I have it wrong.
it? Okay.
I think this shoe, from what I'm told, is going to be more available than other Tom Sachs shoes. It's not going to be, I think, a huge resale shoe. It's cool that they got the retail price really low. It's retail for like $110. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm told there's some more colorways that look a little bit better. I don't really love this first colorway. Like I said, I have not liked the shoe up to this point, and maybe I'm being biased now because my friend Steve Irby did help Nike NYC roll it out.
That's Steve's sweatpants?
Yeah, exactly. A good friend of mine. Shout out to him. And I was hanging out with him on Memorial Day, and he had a pair on feet,
How they look on feet?
and they looked pretty good.
Okay.
And I don't-
Beat up? Were they beat up?
No, they were pretty clean.
Okay.
Yeah, even though most of the stuff we've seen, even some of the campaign imagery, right, showing them off
Yep.
feet up because like that's what they want you to do. So I don't know. I mean, I think I'm being biased here. I don't think I like the shoe. I think I'm being biased because he worked on the campaign and then he had the shoes on feet and they looked good. But it's not a shoe I'm going to try and buy, and it still just looks like too J. Crew to me. I can't get over that J. Crew kill shot.
It has a
too.
menswear look,
You know?
for sure.
It's such a, I had said before the podcast, the take, and I hadn't put it out there yet. It's very much like Upper East Side, affluent. I just want one pair of Nikes shoe, which I guess the kill shot is to
For sure.
to some extent. I think that it's, if Seinfeld was in 2022, these are the shoes that Jerry or George has by the door.
Yeah. Do you like them at all?
I don't mind them.
Yeah.
I also do tend to like simpler silhouettes to some degree.
Yeah.
So don't mind them, but also wouldn't go out of the way for them. You were right too. It is very J. Crew, but even the copy that they had written for the ad was very J. Crew. And as our coworker Andrew Leckie had pointed out on Twitter, he thinks that they stole Simple's ad campaign.
Yeah, he
from the
pointed
90s.
that out, and I looked at some old Simple Shoes ads, and I was like, this does kind of feel like a ripoff a little bit. Joe, how do you feel about the shoes?
Totally just like the opposite of my
You're
style.
hyped on these?
No, my style.
Oh.
But then you,
thought you were gonna say the opposite
But then
of
you
us.
might get a pair or something. And
I
then
don't
you,
think so. Never
it's
say
also a
never.
white. It's also a white shoe though.
That's
so.
what I mean.
I couldn't see Joe wearing this.
These are like such a departure in terms of just like colorway for me that I don't see how these would look. These would look good on me. Are the 2.5s ever going to come out with the thing on them?
I have
The
no
wear
idea.
tested shoes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want those.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, I think there's something admirable in how they want to make this shoe, you know, boring or simple or kind of pared down in a way and feel democratic almost. Because, like I said, I believe they're going to be easier to get. The price is lower. They got a good range of sizes. Like it goes down to like a women's 5. But to me, that's kind of the opposite of why Tom Sachs shoes have been cool. They've been cool because they felt different or like, you know, whatever's on the opposite end of the spectrum from boring, like crazy materials and exaggerated shapes. You know what I mean?
And like it has like the utility aspect to it. I'm wondering, like looking at this, it doesn't seem like it's that.
It's just like I'm a New Yorker who has an office job, but these are my shoes that I wear on the weekends.
Okay.
No?
I appreciate the takes. I'm with you.
His imagination is just Seinfeld, shoes by the door, the other thing.
But the one thing too that we're talking about before this is that in the ad copy, Tom Sachs had said that it took him 10 years to create a shoe this simple.
Yeah, I don't get what that, like, Mark Parker is like your best buddy. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Can't you just do anything with Nike?
It's like the idea that you're like Steve Jobs and it took like this long to like whittle down and pair like
he said it took me years to best advantage of superpowers of scale and deliver value while still reflecting the standards of my studio. I don't
Talk
know.
about a visit. I would love to go to a studio.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's like we talk about this being a a cheaper shoe that's more available.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not going to be the reality of it because it's a Tom Sachs Nike and it's just going to be gone like that.
I know what you mean, but I don't think these will resell
gonna
for
go
more
to
than like
those-
$240 or something.
But there's
Tom
but,
Sachs resell on the 2.0. Obviously, the 1.0 is basically a myth.
Yeah.
But the 2.0,
that I have.
astronomical.
the 2.0 is astronomical.
Yeah. You can't even find dead stock pairs. If
But
you
just
find
the-
a clean pair,
I
you
have
gotta
a
pay
DS.
5,000. Excuse me.
You just tried
Yeah.
to
Go
yourself.
ahead. Go
That's
ahead.
what we call
Counterflex?
yeah, exactly, a counterflex.
But just the idea
saw-
that you're gonna happen to casually stroll into, a J. Crew liquor store and find these like
No.
just sitting there next to a pair of Sperry's.
You know what they should have? They should have just made them. We've talked about it before. Like, when is Nike just going to do a shoe on pre-order? This would have been a cool model for it. If you want it to be an everyday shoe that everybody can access, do them on pre-order and just let people order however many pairs they want.
Pre-order.
Yeah, maybe people feel like pre-order is a trigger word right now. We'll get to that. Can we talk about the Travis Scott drop? Those cactus,
should.
Those like
We
all
should.
came out,
ones,
right?
Trainer ones finally came out.
Yeah, it seems like that he dropped in like succession a bunch of shoes. 1 million. What was it reported? 1 million submissions in 30 minutes.
Something like that.
Ugh.
Those trainer ones suck.
It's just like I think it's like just an ultimate sign of like, I'm sure are some people who like those shoes.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the ultimate sign of, you're just saying, I just want this in the hopes that I can resell it,
Think so?
or the hopes to get my hand on a Travis Scott shoe, because none of those are great sneakers at all.
Yeah, but somebody somewhere down the line who's buying it from the reseller is going to wear it, right?
Yeah, fan.
But it's a Travis Scott shoe. It's like everyone
No, I'm with you on
at
that.
some point or used to want. I don't know what the.
And I think there's a lot of good Travis Scott shoes, but those trainer ones,
The brown ones.
both of them, it's just like a bunch of random
And
stuff
the Air Max
on the shoe.
Air Max ones aren't great either.
Yeah.
I feel like the Air Max ones would look weird. The trainer ones, the brown ones, I'm not too mad at.
Just not.
I
Great.
just in a world in a year where we got chlorophyll Air Trainer 1 retro that is like closer to the OG, how could you ever want a Travis Scott Air Trainer 1 over a chlorophyll Air Trainer
And
1?
also, like, the shroud looks awful. And two, that, like, was it like Cactus Corp or
Yeah.
whatever logo on the back just looks cheap and tacky.
Yeah, it might be his worst shoe in my opinion.
Worse than the Air Jordan 33s.
Sorry, I wanted to move on. I remembered what shoe preview that we need to talk about.
Okay,
But no, say it.
Orange Lobsters.
gonna be a big one.
Going to be a big one. Also,
Dion
I think
Point stepped out with them on
Dion
feet.
Point courtside at the Celtics. I'm sure he's going to go to the finals.
I love that they kind of jumped ahead of the rumors and just brought him out. I would love to see more of that.
Well, I know that we were talking about ranking in the Slack, but those are up there for me.
Up there in terms of
Probably third,
of
the Lobsters.
oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Where for
Well, I think the number one,
you? Yellow.
yellow.
Yellow
number,
Lobster's number one.
Yeah.
Have to disagree.
It's like
but go on.
speckled, right?
Yeah. A great shoe. But number two, red.
Ooh, the blue ones are good
Number
too.
three, blue. Number four, probably the purple.
I
number
think the
5 is-
orange are better than the purple.
Wait, where are you putting green?
Green below the purple.
I don't. You guys like the yellow lobster best out of
I
all
like
the
them.
SB
Yeah.
lobster done?
I
Especially
think
with the
so.
story.
Red
yeah.
lobster, or
Especially
blue
with the
lobster to
story
me.
behind it too, where it's just like if you could have pulled a pair out of the back during the release and gotten them.
Yeah, I like the yellow a lot.
Yellow shoes aren't good.
The orange, I like the orange.
The orange
a
looks
lot.
good. The orange looks good. To me, it's
I also love that
Yellow
he
shoes
I
aren't
love-
good.
I
You were
love
wearing
that
the
he-
Lightning Fours. What are you talking about?
I also love that he previewed them like didn't give them to a celebrity. Kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Could have
Yeah.
easily sent them to the tunnel.
and it felt like a reaction, like
Jason Tatum coming out.
Yeah, I mean, and that would have been cool. But I like that Dion
yeah.
did it.
Yeah. Especially, like I said, right after the rumors about the shoes, and they just said, you know what, fine, you want to talk about them before some crappy leak shows up.
I
boom.
wonder how Nike felt about that.
I'm sure they got the okay, right? Can I get my rankings of them real quick?
Yeah.
I think Red Lobster is number 1. I think Blue Lobster number 2. Then I'll go purple, yellow, green.
Okay, we're all over.
Purple
the
are
place.
not
Ooh.
better than yellow.
I know, that's leaving orange out.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. Should we talk about the shoes we're wearing on feet, by the way?
Yeah.
Joe?
Stray Rats,
New Balance 991s.
New Balance. Another preview. You saw
We can
Teddy-
let's talk about it after the fact. 'Cause,
Okay.
like, we can get into it.
Okay.
No, but you're wearing
Yeah, Stray Rats 991 shoe I saw on a shelf and went back and got like these with shorts. Maybe not my favorite, but with black pants. You know? Like, God, yikes.
I think I like,
I like these, and I like the colorway.
I like 991s, but I've like sneakers with shorts. But I think sometimes I've started to realize that black shoes with shorts sometimes tough.
Is that the equation?
Tough sometimes.
You're saying the fit's trash?
No, I'm saying for me.
But we should talk real quick. Complex Nego.
Yeah, look, you got
collaboration.
The hoodie on. You got the hoodie on.
Shouts to everyone who was involved in this. Shouts to Cariza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this is weird because I thought also we should talk about very quick the New Balance 991, because every time the New Balance 991 gets brought up, Welty has to mention that.
I was the first American.
It's not even what I was thinking. Was that what you were thinking?
No, I want to hear. First American go.
To get their own made in England New Balance 991.
Was that what were you thinking?
Not that.
And also, Brendan thinks it's a bad shoe.
There we go.
Oh, that's what I. Well, I was thinking that.
Both statements can be true. At
Well,
the same time.
No, for sure.
I thought it was going to say that you guys always disagree on it.
Yeah.
What'd you do? First American, really? Is that?
We can put it. We talked about it a bunch of times here. We can put the picture right here.
Teddy Santis
Hold
is
on,
lying
though.
behind you.
What?
Is that Cap?
No, it's not.
Joe is holding out his hat to Welty.
What are you wearing, Brendan?
White and blue Dunks. I probably worn these on. I always say
Yeah,
I probably worn
you
these
thought
before.
that yellow was orange at one point.
Really calling people out this week.
What else is new?
Between
He's
the
back.
shorts with the black shoes.
Yeah,
and-
black
we are
shoes with
fucking
shorts
back,
don't look
baby.
good. Zoom in, Babs.
Yeah, I wear these a lot.
And
I
then
like
look
'em.
who we got.
From our friend
Yes.
Joe
JFG,
Freshers.
990s, outside clothes. We're outside.
The blue mesh every time
Good shoe.
gets me.
I like them.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to talk about 991s or do we want to give away the shoes?
No, I want to talk about the 991s after the fact. So I just want to give away the shoes.
Yeah, we'll talk about Okay. So we have, as per usual, some shoes to give away with our good friends at eBay Sneakers. Every week on the Complex Sneakers podcast, we give away a pair of sneakers. This is how you can get a pair. If you go to ebay.complex.com, you can submit a question. If we pick your question and answer your question on air, if we address what you had to ask us, we will be sending you a free pair of Grail level sneakers from eBay as selected by us, your beloved co-hosts. Joe, who are we giving away the shoes to this week?
Sarah Honda ones.
We gave these away before, right?
Yeah, we did, but we're bringing them back because
Okay.
it is a Grail. It is a
Okay.
classic.
Bumping around on the mic.
Yep, bumping around on the mic. Sorry, guys. But 2004, absolute classic. One where we talk.
He's like.
One, sorry, I did the Dennis Rodman. One.
Sorry,
One.
You ripped the top of the box open.
Yeah, one where we talked about the laces.
Yeah.
Really setting them off. Jedi Nike Dunk SB.
Fun era.
Great era.
Little patent leather on the bag.
Only thing I was a little worried about.
Shoe's not going to fall apart.
Not that. This reminds me a little bit of the Slam City toe box, which we knew.
Right.
No, those are
Fell
fine.
apart on you.
Yeah, but I think these will be good.
Okay. Well, you're kind of manhandling him. He's like pressing his
Oh, you
thumb
mean
real hard on the toe
Brendan
box there.
I'm Brendan Dunningham. Brendan Dunningham.
Yeah.
Yeah, great shoe. 2004 Nike SB. Great era, as we said. We've talked about this shoe before, but I think you add this to your collection. It's immediately Grail status, and the person who's getting it asked a timely question.
The question was asked us by Ian Reyes in San Diego, and Ian asks, "Do you ever find it tiresome to be known as the sneakerhead amongst your friends or family?"
I don't. I like.
Really?
Yeah, I take pride in it a little bit.
Really?
And here's the example I'll give. Like, and I've said it before, but at Christmas, like, oh, what shoe should I get? And they go to you, and like, I'm always like interested in kind of like curating what it is. You know, you're not going to recommend like a very expensive shoe for a gift, but like I love suggesting like an Air Max 95.
Yeah.
And then I really like when like you see the family or the friends wearing your recommendation. But another thing that I would say kind of related to this topic, we're in graduation season, and graduation season is also Yeezy season. Like I have a lot of cousins.
You're
gifts.
getting them Yeezys for
Oh, okay.
graduation?
For gifts, like, hey,
I thought you meant they were wearing Yeezys to their graduation.
No, but-
I thought it was a Kanye West pun.
Yeah.
that's what it was, right? Yeezy season.
Okay,
but
yeah, we're
so
aligned.
so I think like for gifts, we're in like people are graduating high school or
Yeah.
college.
You love to be that guy.
I like it. I guess the funny part is when you recommend, and sometimes you're like, nah, none of these are good, and you're like,
Actually, they are.
Well, you know-
don't know about the silver box. SB
Yeah,
era?
exactly.
Oh,
That's when I guess you're like, well, why'd you ask?
God.
Oh,
You just like unlocked like
Triggered a memory.
no, but it's like.
I want to know what this is.
I
wanna
know.
know.
Yeah, I want to
I
hear.
just-
But like, you're like, oh, I think I remember once. It's like, oh, Michigan dunk highs or
Yeah.
whatever.
How can you be mad at that?
I don't know about these, and it's like, all right, then like,
Then fuck off.
That's exactly my take.
it's just an alley oop to
Oh man,
Go
nothing
ahead.
worse than when
Really?
if someone's gonna everyone's a sneaker person out here is probably watching this, but like don't reach out to someone who this can apply to more than sneakers, right? Don't reach out to someone who you deem an expert at something, or at least someone
wow.
who knows what they're talking about, and then ask for their advice or opinion on something, and then they give you their advice or opinion on it, and then you're like, no, I don't want to like listen to anything you have to say. Okay, cool, but you shouldn't have asked me in the first place then.
Or you should have paid me a fucking consulting fee.
your family and friends.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Or
No,
like
I'm-
people will ask me, like people hit me up. Here's like a perfect example of things that definitely happen.
I love this.
People
Here we
ask
go.
me like, oh, like I need a pair of shoes to go to the gym. I'm going to be doing this, this, and this. What shoes should I get? And I'm like, okay, if you're going to be like lifting weights or whatever, like you can either get a pair of like Nike Metcons, Reebok Nanos, whatever, right? And like I give them like 4 examples of shoes, links that you can buy them from, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, not feeling any of those. Anything else? I'm like, nope. You
I
know what?
love that.
I'm not giving you anything else. I gave you what you need
Yeah.
for what you asked me for. At that point, go pick out your own thing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, little different of a take.
So it's a burden for you. No, it feels
Where
like
do
a
you
burden
fall?
for me. I hate being like at a party or being introduced to somebody and being like, oh, yeah, he writes about sneakers. And then it's
Oh,
the
that's
same
the worst.
question. What's your favorite sneaker of all time?
I get a lot of those. yeah.
Every time, and you have the canned answer on deck. I mean, or like, how many sneakers do you have? That's an easier one to navigate. But I don't really like being that guy because I feel like it puts me in the position of having the same conversations over and over again throughout my life, which is one of the things I hate the most. Like, real quick, like having the scar on my forehead, like the amount of times I've had to have the conversation about like, what happened to you in the car accident? It's the same type of thing of like not repeating yourself for the next like 10, 15 years throughout your life. And I feel like I do that with sneakers all the time.
Is there anything better than when someone finds out that like you're the sneaker person? So then all of a sudden they like just want to hit you up and be like, hey, like this Yeezy 350 is dropping. Should I cop them to resell? And you're like, I don't know. I don't run your finances.
Okay, so never ask you. You could ask me.
Don't DM me ever.
You could
Send
ask me.
all your requests to Joe.
I'm happy about it. Yeah, Ian,
Ian, enjoy these sneakers.
great pair.
Enjoy being the sneakerhead in the
Sneaker
in the
guy?
life of your
Enjoy
friends
the
and family.
sneaker man.
Sneaker bad. Okay, Welty, let's get back to talk about 991 some more because I know
Okay.
this was important. You wanted to get this off your chest.
So officially over the weekend, the ALD 991, it's like a 2-part collaboration. There's a white and brown pair with the green accents. I think there's a white and gray pair with green accents.
Yeah.
Were officially announced. They had been previewed earlier this year. Big Body Bess.
Right. He had them on in the lookbook, right?
Yep. And which I said was going to be one of my favorite shoes of the year at that moment. But so the shoes got officially announced, and it's a made in England, or made in UK at the Flimby factory.
A place where they have your picture on the wall, I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
First American, just him,
Place that I visited twice
just
to
him.
do a 991. Also, shout out to our guy Richie,
First,
our guy Richie Rojas, who also got to make his own.
but surely after you, because he's also
No, at the same
American.
time, but he did a 1500.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say his came, it's like the twins, and his came out right after you off the factory line.
No. So
I'm sorry.
the shoes got announced, and New Balance more popular than it has ever been
For sure.
in the space. So there's a lot of people who are like, I don't want to say Johnny come lately to the scene, but people just haven't had a lot of no. People who haven't had a lot of experience buying New Balance throughout the years, who all of a
Right.
sudden are trying to buy into New Balance.
Right. They haven't been collecting New Balances over the past 10, 20 years.
Yes. Or even in the past like 5 years, right? They got into it in the past like year and a half, right? So I think the thing that people saw and they got frustrated by is the price point on the ALD New Balance sneaker.
How much is it?
It's $275, which does sound like a lot of money on the surface. And
It
I'm
is a lot
not
of
here
money.
saying that $275 isn't a lot of money for a shoe. So don't take it saying that Matt thinks that everyone should be able to spend $275 on a pair of shoe. Not saying that at all.
Right.
But made in UK, New Balances and New Balances in general, very expensive shoes.
That's the way things are.
That's the way things
have
are.
been
The
for a
shoe
long
that
time.
Joe's wearing right now, remember you wanted to get these pairs and you're like, why are they so expensive? The retail on that shoe.
Who said that?
You did. I remember you had saying that you were like, oh, these shoes are so expensive.
When? Recently?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
The retail on that shoe is $250.
Yeah, but it's Joe La Puma.
Yeah. But
No.
I'm not saying that. It's just like sometimes they're more expensive than you think they're going to be. The average retail for like New Balance made in England shoes are usually between $245 and like $270.
Yeah.
New Balance always been expensive. The
Yeah.
OG 990 in 1982 was the first $100 sneaker.
That's part of why it was cool.
Yes, that's the reason why all like the dope boys in DC, DMV area wore New Balance, because it was a status symbol.
Right.
So that people are saying now that I don't understand why this ALD shoe is expensive. Number one, it's made in England, premium materials. You have to import it to the United States, whatever. It's going to cost more money. I just don't get the argument that they think that this is like an imaginary number, that like New Balance shoes have always been $90. Then all of a sudden they create this one ALD and they're going to tax people $275 for it. It's just like, have you been paying attention to what's going on with New Balance lately?
Yeah.
I don't know, but everyone wants to have an opinion on everything online. So
That we know for sure.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I don't really like the shoe that much.
I like the leather with the mesh.
I don't like the big mesh. Zach DeBasic, our coworker at Soul Collector, always talks about how big mesh looks cheap, and I don't like that big open mesh. So I'm skipping these, especially for $270.
I want them.
Are you going to pay $270 for them?
Maybe.
Joe, is he going to pay $270 for them?
I don't know. You just made a convincing case, it seems.
So you got to stand by your words.
Yes. I will spend $275 if the shoes
Imagine
are
that. Though.
Okay.
Okay.
to me.
Expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. I mean, $275, I'm saying it is a lot of money. I'm just saying that it's in line with what New Balance shoes are that are made in England.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right. So, as we mentioned previously, we've been booking guests. We've been shooting kind of ahead of schedule, and some things have kept happening. The latest, we were off. Well, we weren't off, but we didn't shoot when this was
off.
happening.
I was
were
on
off.
vacation.
The Zadeh Kicks. Am I pronouncing it right?
Oh, there's a little discrepancy between Welty and me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apologies if I'm not pronouncing it right, but
Maybe you could get a hold of this guy and he could tell us.
I tried to text him.
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah, talk about this. Let's talk about it and let's give context.
Yeah.
For people
So
who may not have heard this yet.
Zadeh Kicks. That's how I'm saying it. I'm
Okay,
sticking-
Zadeh.
I'm
maybe
gonna say
wrong.
Zadeh, and then whoever can chime in and vote on what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Longtime reseller based in Eugene, Oregon. A guy known for the past, few years at least for doing these big pre-orders where you would buy a pair of shoes from him and you wouldn't get it for, weeks, months usually. The big fiasco right now is that he moved to voluntarily dissolve his LLC, his business, this past week, and left a bunch of people on the hook who had what sounds like totals of millions of dollars invested in pre-orders, because basically these pre-orders were below market value, and if you ordered them early enough and were just willing to wait it out, then you could just sell the shoes when they showed up and make your profit. So people mistakenly at first called it a bankruptcy. It's not a bankruptcy, and you should go read our own Riley Jones had a detailed report on complex.com about this. This popped up, like I said, I was on vacation, so I was trying to wrap my head around it while it was all happening, but a lot of resellers are out a lot of money. It sounds like, $10,000, $20,000. Some people saying they're out six figures from,
yeah.
from
million,
having, basically spend a bunch of money on these pre-orders, expecting that as per usual, the sneakers would eventually show up and then they could resell them because they were able to buy them below market value. And I think a lot of the questions were
Or
like,
even like below retail.
Well,
at
that's
some
what
point?
I was wondering. Was it below retail or below what they were going to resell for once
I think
you were getting them
mostly
at
it
a
was
price premium and then
below what they were going to eventually
in the future.
resell for. The word that a lot of people are using at this point is Ponzi scheme, that this was a Ponzi scheme. I don't think I'm not comfortable like calling it that yet. Like the FBI is involved. They're looking into it now.
A Ponzi scheme by definition is that like you keep on swindling more people down the line.
But isn't it more people also join the scheme with you?
Yeah, where it's like they keep on, more people join it, but it's like different tiers of people whose money, like it's like me taking your money with the hopes of someone else getting your money, and the other person with the hopes of getting their money, and kind of like building it all out from there. That's typically what a Ponzi scheme is. If you were, and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just guessing, if you were just buying these shoes from whoever you were buying them from and then selling them or not selling them to people, you're not really like swindling.
Well, he did. I mean, it does.
No,
feel like
you're not
he swindled
swindling the
people.
person that you're purchasing that he's purchasing the shoes from.
Well, you have to pay up front.
No, but maybe the person's getting swindled who is giving him the money, right? But where's the next tier that makes it a Ponzi scheme?
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. I understand that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, and I feel like a lot of the like bot people on Twitter have done a good job because they're more invested in this. You know, the bot people and all the resellers and kids who have a lot of money tied up in this. Like, to me, a lot of this is kind of unrelatable because I'm like, I would never ever be investing tens or $20,000 into pre-ordering shoes to flip down the line.
So would you say that a lot of his customers were resellers?
Yeah, that's
it
what
wasn't
it seems
a lot.
like.
It wasn't
yeah.
like, oh, I really want this sneaker to wear, and I could get it at a price premium. You think the bulk of, from your experience talking to him, the bulk of his customers were resellers?
That's what it feels like. It's like it wasn't people who were
they've
buying.
been the most vocal people.
They weren't. Not that I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it was the majority of people buying for personal pairs.
Yeah, I mean there are people like that, and I actually have bought a couple pairs from him for personal pairs. I think
Really?
Yeah, super random. But in 2013, I bought a play clothes Saucony cotton candy pack sneaker from him, and then I think I bought a.
Was it just on a website?
Yeah, it was on his website back in the day, and then I bought a cool gray Nike Air Python, I think, off his website as well.
Okay.
And you know what? They delivered on time. So as far as I'm considered, he's totally legit. No. I mean, they were delivered on time, but
yeah, I know it's not a bankruptcy thing, but one of the things that had been said via the whole like legal language or whatever when it had come is that his business had grown to a point where he could no longer not fulfill the orders, but he couldn't.
Yeah, the liability was like greater than like the assets he actually had in order to fulfill these orders. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't want to. I hate to like get on here and talk about it without having talked to him about it, you know. And like, this is a person who I've talked to a handful of times throughout the years.
And can you say how you know him?
Yeah, I mean, I know him through Oregon reselling people.
Oh, but I mean, you had written a story on
Yeah.
it.
I'll get to that for sure. But I just wanted to say that I did reach out to him and try and text him, but it looks like his phone number is shut off, and I think that's because there's people like hassling him endlessly and like doxing him. Like, it looks like all his information has been shared on certain quarters of sneaker Twitter at this point. I sent him an email too. Who knows? But yeah, I did interview him for a story, I think 2015 or 2016, about he had said that his warehouse at the time, there was a fire in there, and basically all the stuff that was in there, his personal stuff and his stuff for resale, and you can go read the old story on Soul Collector, went up in flames, and he was dealing with a huge insurance claim around it. People are bringing up that old article.
That was in one of the comments of Riley's piece.
Yeah, and people are speculating now that was a fraud scam thing too, and that he was trying to defraud the insurance company. But maybe that's a possibility. I mean,
You don't know.
that's a possibility for sure, but I can't say that that's the case. And also, I feel like if you were trying to defraud an insurance company, you wouldn't agree to give an interview about it. You know, like if you were trying to scam a company out of a bunch of money, you would be as quiet as possible and give as little details to the public, in my opinion, because I would give you maybe I'm just saying this because I wrote the story, but I feel like we can't jump out the window and say that was
think,
like
though, that
a scam situation.
To some degree, though, that may, not that you could obviously write a negative piece about him,
right?
You know what I mean? But if you had like written it where you had given an interview and he had like on record said that like, oh, my house burnt down, this happened,
right.
this happened. You don't think he could have used that maybe to even show the insurance company? Not saying that was his,
I don't know,
motive, but like,
I don't know.
What, giving an interview about it as evidence?
it's like
saying,
just
I don't know if that would hold
just
up.
like showing. I'm not saying it show up like whatever, but maybe if you was like there was a news story about it or something,
right.
you could like show to the insurance company like, look, my house burnt down. Like,
I have no idea.
The New York Times said it happened.
So then the next steps is like the documents will become public for this case? Or
Yeah, I mean, there's already some public documents around it.
Yeah.
And, right now everybody's fighting to try and get their money back. I know the guy, Anthony from Swift Cop. I've talked to him a little bit about this, and they set up a Discord where people are kind of sharing as much information as they can in order to try and, file these PayPal claims. Like I said, the FBI is involved now. I have to wonder whether or not the FBI became involved from sneaker people giving tips or like hitting them up, like making complaints formally. And the timeline's a little off in my head because I was on vacation, but yeah, it's nice to see people kind of banding together and fighting to try and get their money back. It sucks.
I would put a bet on that would be the case.
What
you're saying, that like people kind of like trying to rat him out. Not that I don't know if the FBI is interested in these things.
I mean, they're involved for sure.
No, organically.
Oh, like without somebody. Yeah. I know what
But
you're
like
saying.
maybe they are, maybe they're not. But in my head, I'm thinking that maybe their number one priority isn't trying to track down people who are defrauding people through sneaker reselling. But
yeah. There's just so much shady stuff around. I mean, him wiping the Instagram, like a lot of the personal stuff on the Instagram is all gone. He unfollowed everybody. Yeah, I mean, there's no way you could say that this isn't something extremely shady. You know what I mean?
have you been talking to people in Oregon about it?
Yeah, I've hit up a couple people who know him, and I'm kind of waiting to get proper interviews with them and really understand it better. But yeah, I mean, it's sad. Do y'all feel bad for the resellers? Because I think this is one of the interesting things about, like, a lot of people see resellers as the bad guys or the bad people, and a lot of people, I feel like, are rejoicing when they see that young resellers are out tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I think you should, they got scammed, then.
I know, I agree. To me, it's a different thing, like, because even if you look at resellers as annoying or fucking up this hobby that we're engaged in, they're not scamming people in the same way that this seems to have been a scam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not rejoicing at all about like resellers, because at the end of the day, it's like people trying to make money,
Yeah.
you know, and whatnot, and it's like it kind of like reeks a lot of just kind of get rich quick sort of.
You mean from Zadeh Kicks or from the resellers who were buying from him?
From the resellers buying from where they're like investing their money into something that's not really like a sure shot thing, you know, where it
Sneakers in general?
no, but just
value?
trying to like get like a bulk order, where it's kind of like the Sopranos episode where Artie like thinks that he's going to start like the liquor company, and then he gives this guy all of his money. Remember that?
Vaguely.
Like it seems like people hoping to, you know, get rich quick or whatnot, and maybe there's better ways to spend your money and invest it, but
But, I mean, in exchange of money that
yeah,
you don't get back is...
no, it sucks.
Yeah. There was one, I wish I could remember the person who posted it, but a really interesting Twitter thread, and there's a lot of good stuff on Twitter about this, although some of it is hard to really establish what's fact. But somebody had dug up the right amount of receipts to where they had found what they believed to be a StockX portfolio connected to Zadeh Kicks, maybe in his wife's name or his partner's name or something like that. Because if you remember back when StockX used to have like a public collection type of thing where you could show all the shoes you owned and how much, and basically through looking at that and old screenshots and Wayback Machine stuff, they were deducing that Zadeh Kicks was just fulfilling these pre-orders from buying shoes on StockX, so that it wasn't even him having that much access to backdoor and stuff like that. I mean, he's told me that he had backdoor access, and a lot of people.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the conversations because I like to talk about stuff when it's explicitly on the record. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Not that there's some big secret lurking in our text messages, but yeah, that's an interesting thing. If it was really as simple as just like getting people's money and then fulfilling the orders through buying it on StockX, and you're basically like taking out a loan, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, the one thing too, the one IG story highlight that he had was about him being one of the top 1% of businesses on Shopify.
Which is crazy.
Like, what kind of volume is that?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, based in Eugene, a funny note about this is that Joe Hebert of Nike Ann Hebert scandal, Joe West Coast fame, used to have a warehouse 1 block away from where Zadeh Kicks is. Yeah, so, man, people are invested in this. There's people going through his trash. Have you seen this?
No.
Like kids going through his trash looking for clues.
Oh my god.
But
It's
again, if you're out a ton of money, I just hope that does. Yeah.
Who knows how you would react?
Yeah, it's got to be pretty devastating.
It's just it's so crazy to me, because just looking at the whole like sneaker resell landscape, right? Where a lot of these kids, because a lot of them are kids, right? Like I feel like not everyone who's reselling sneakers is young, but I feel like a bulk of them are people who are like between the ages of like 16 and 25, you know, where it's like they're more invested in.
Think so? That young?
I think so. From what I see online and people I know, it tends to skew a lot younger.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because it's like it's a lot of people who haven't really reached the point in their life yet of like, what am I going to do for a career? So like they want to make money, and there's a huge allure of like selling shoes because you can make a lot of money fast if you have like the connections and whatnot and build out your businesses, where you haven't gotten to the point yet where you actually have like a full-time career. So the allure of being able to make six figures or whatever off of flipping shoes or however much you're going to make is like, it appeals to a younger audience. Not that it doesn't appeal to everyone, but you have more time and willingness to invest in that being.
I mean, maybe that's part of why I said it feels so like foreign to me, because I could never, you know, and like I've resold shoes and I resell shoes pretty regularly, but like this version of it is something that is like so distant from, I think, what we grew up on, you know, this like bulk pairs of getting, you know, 400 pairs of Yeezy 350s and making $10 off of each of them, things like that, where like that is like a little bit of the resell thing that annoys me. Like I think it's a mistake to, and we talked about it on here before, but to automatically demonize resellers or to be annoyed at resell across the board. But that like level of it is still kind of annoying to me.
Like the bulk resellers,
You know, like it felt like 10 or 15 years ago that there was stuff that resold and was worth a lot of money, but there was a layer and a level below that where like not everything was resold. You know what I mean? Like retro Jordans you could still just get. I hate that we got accelerated to this point, and I think through, to some extent, arrangements like this where everything is being resold for just a little tiny margin.
But there's also so many people involved in the game now where it's like you said, not every shoe was going to be like that at the time, like Off-White Nike, where you're
super coveted,
where it's going to be $1,000 shoe, you know, and it's like you're not going to hit on every single release either. So you have to be like, how do I resell stuff, right? And I feel like that's where like people got the idea of like, how do we resell white on white Air Force Ones? It's like, how do we take the most accessible shoe there is out there and somehow create like a way that if we buy 20,000 pairs of white on white Air Force Ones, like I'll eventually make money off of it, you know?
It seems like it also is happening in like stores around the country that maybe we're not privy to, but like you see like Jordan 1s, if you can make mids or colorways that are not like OG, if you can make $15 or $20, I think like stores are stocking them in bulk.
Yeah, it's weird to me, you know?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't want to like hate on it too much or think that like everyone who resells is like this evil person,
right?
You know, but yeah, I don't know. Like me personally, and I've said this, not online though. It's just there are some people who are super invested in this one, and it feels like everyone
in Zadeh Kicks.
Yeah, everyone wants to get their hands on like or thoughts and takes on sneaker scandals these days because that seems what to move, but. Comparatively speaking to like Marcus Jordan or the Annie Bayer scandal, to me this one is like it just doesn't really like have that real hook on it.
You don't think this is a bigger story? Is it?
I mean, but the money,
the FBI,
the money, the FBI,
money.
I get it. But the other ones, the other stories, like fed and fueled all these like conspiracies within the sneaker space that got people tied into them, like the idea of Michael Jordan's son reselling, or the fact that the son of a Nike VP is using her level of access to resell and make money, fueled this whole the sneaker game is unfair and this is why I can't buy shoes and all that sort of stuff. This doesn't. I mean, maybe he is getting shoes from stores and it is doing that, but it doesn't have that level, that extra added level of he's the boogeyman on why I don't hit on sneakers that everyone associated with the previous two stories.
Yeah. I agree with that, but also I would say that this feels like a bigger deal because people were actually scammed out of their money.
Out of money.
If those people don't get their money back,
It's
and
gonna
maybe they will, but they're gonna have to fucking fight. They're talking about the PayPal windows of 180 days, and like I said, there are big support groups of people helping each other out, trying to get this money back. Like Marcus Jordan, it was like, oh, I didn't get to buy the shoes, and the Joe Hebert, Ann Hebert, West Coast streetwear thing was more like, this is part of a systemic problem that's bigger and harder to pin down. But this, to me, feels like such a huge deal because there's, young people, and not just young people, but, people who are like on the hook for 20 grand and just like wondering.
But like you said, it seems to only affect resellers.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't really affect the average consumer as much.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm interested to see how much of a dent it makes in the resale game. Like, is the volume of this significant enough alone? Probably not. But is the volatility and like a scam like this and this instance of fraud enough to scare people away of like not investing in this kind of reselling? Will reselling take a hit?
The fact that people can't get a mass volume
in terms
of
of
it,
like trust.
Yeah, and I don't know if trust is the right word, but just like how willing people are as resellers to make these big investments or to like run stuff like this.
Because I've heard people say that recently too, where it's like if you're not reselling on a mass level, and I'm not saying that people don't need money and people don't need to pay their bills, so like don't take this out of context, but like if you're not making actual money off of reselling, then some people are like, what are you reselling for? Where it's like if you are only making $65, off of a transaction, and I don't know what your personal needs are or whatever. Maybe that $65 is everything to you, but like for most people, $65 isn't like a source of income, and it's like the amount of time and money that you put into something on a pair of shoes that you're not even going to want anyways. It's like you really did all that for $60.
Yeah, and I think that there's things like this that happen where people involved in reselling start to pause or like, is this still going to be worth it? I feel like a lot of those people moved over to cards for a second and then moved over to NFTs, and then some of those things just cooled down, and it's like
I gave up the cards. I did. Just wasn't getting. I was spending too much money and never hitting.
Ugh. It's funny because
I got a Magic Johnson autograph.
Let me find out.
Wasn't
you're
a rookie.
Out at 20K. You were
But it was just
pre-orders from Zadeh Kicks.
It was just. I got like I love the lives. I'll still watch. It's still like, but I just stopped. It was because like you're looking at boxes of cards and I'm like, this is like a very expensive pair of sneakers, or this is like and I just was not hitting.
You were copying NBA Top Shots.
I was just not hitting on cards, but
You say, I think the difference too is that some people feel if you feel bad or not, for the resellers who are out, and obviously you do feel bad for anyone who lost money, but
yeah, I do, yeah,
definitely. It's weird, not a weird comparison, but I guess maybe a similar thing recently-ish is when you hear like people getting their like NFT wallets like swiped or stolen, on the thing, and everyone kind of laughs, and like unless the collectors themselves, but everyone's like, haha, I told you so,
right.
Where it's like, oh, like your digital asset disappeared, like that's why you don't invest in it's not that you don't feel bad for people losing out on money, but you're not. But there's a lot of people out there who are like, that's why you don't invest in NFTs, because someone can just swipe it off of you. Yeah. But maybe this feels different than that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope everybody gets their money back. Yeah. I hope we are able to learn more about it, exactly what happened. I hope nobody does anything stupid, posting his address everywhere and,
I mean, you said that already happened.
No, I know, but that info is out there already, but
don't dox people.
Or just, let the law handle. I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive because I don't have $30,000 invested in this thing, but whew.
You're going to be following it, though.
Yeah, we'll all be following it and updating you all accordingly.
All right, well, we got to it. Back in studio, back off vacation.
Yep. Back in the USA.
To put a pin in it, you guys shooting soon? New season?
I think so. Yeah, FSR will be back soon.
Yeah, how you guys feeling? You excited about it?
Yeah, we're excited.
Good.
Always excited.
Okay.
We like chilling. We like our downtime.
Yeah, you guys have had a lot of downtime, but I mean, obviously, always still
deserved.
Huh? No, I mean, you haven't been, a new episode hasn't been. I think
Yeah.
it's people are waiting for it. So
Got some fun people booked this season.
Yes,
I saw
yes,
that.
yes,
That's
yes.
why I wanted to allude to it. But
Yeah.
it seems like it's going to start with a
Yep.
with a
bang.
With a bang. Yeah. All right. Listen, everyone.
We're back.
Another week. We're back. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. Please like, subscribe. We will see you next week.